welcome to the Geriatric Millennials. This is Jayme.
And this is Beth.
And we are two oldish, youngish ladies talking about stuff. Well, a story. I have a story. I have a story for you. And it is about pets. I think you're gonna want to hear this. I know you're gonna be interested in this story. Now, we have cats, and I know that you have cats. So you're a cat person.
Love it.
Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Where do I even start? Who knew we would ever have cats? Because my husband is severely allergic to cats. And so a few years ago, our kids really wanted pets. They really wanted a pet. I knew we couldn't ever have a dog. And one of them wanted a snake, and I was like,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. There were most pets that we were like, no, because we take trips, we go places. I don't want to have to pay somebody to take care of them and make arrangements and all of that. Just no, thank you. I was having this conversation with someone, and she has a plethora of animals in her life, and her cat had just had kittens. And I was like, my kids would love to have a cat, but we never could. We could never let it in the house because, my husband's super allergic. And so I was like, yeah, if only I could have a pet that just lived outside, that didn't need a lot of care, essentially, but would still just, satisfy that need that my kids felt like they had. And so anyways, we had gotten to this conversation. We started talking about cats and outdoor cats, having cats, but they could be outside. And I was like, what? Of course, that would be great. Because when we lived in Belize, I grew up with cats. And in Belize, we had cats. And yeah, they were outside cats, but they were always around. And anyway, so we decided that this is what we were going to try to accomplish. And so we got these two kittens. We decided that they were going to be semi-outdoor cats because we decided to use the garage to become their inside shelter. And that's where I was going to put their food and water, because I didn't want to leave it out just for outside because, there's other creatures and neighborhood. I didn't want to attract animals and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we figured out this plan that we were going to have litter box, food, water, all of that in the garage. And there was already this pet door.
Oh, perfect.
In the garage, and it's detached, and there's no actual door from the garage to our house. And so we thought we would give this a try. My husband's like, yeah, I'll have nothing to do with them. And so we're like, okay. So me and the two younger kids, it was their pets. And so we got these two cats when they're kittens, and we trained them, and it's been awesome. They love their cats. So they're named Midnight, who's all black, and the other one's Mittens, and they're both female, and the Mittens has white paws, and so she's super cute. So anyway, we've had these two cats that have been really great pets, really nice cats. It works really well to have them use their little cat door. Now, I have a different story for another date, which I think actually I have
you've told this story.
I have told the story of when we were getting other creatures in the garage, and I set up a trap to catch the raccoon.
Yes.
Ended up catching neighborhood cats, and then finally catching a skunk, and then having to release that trap with the skunk in it, blah, blah, blah. Listen to that episode. I forget what number it is.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. Go back and listen to that one, because that's a great story, but that's not what this story is about. So that was background. Now, this story takes place somewhat recently. Okay, you know how I said we would go out of town sometimes, and we would leave the cats, and then we'd come back and they were fine. And we just left the cat door open. But every other, when we're home, we're always putting the cats in at night and closing the cat door. So they're safe and sound inside the garage. And then we let them out in the morning. This has been going on for years. Over the course of the summer, or in the springtime, our cat started to be gone for a couple of nights and not come when we would call her. And that was a little bit strange, but then she would come. So it would be 1 or 2 nights, Mittens wouldn't come. But then on the third night, she would be there, for example. And so she was getting to be just a little bit not as consistent. Midnight has been completely consistent, but Mittens has always, they have different personalities. Midnight's always hanging around the house. She's always by the window, always wanting to interact. And she's super sweet, just right there, always. Mittens, on the other hand, is a little bit more aloof. Okay. So Mittens started to, be gone every now and then, for a night or two. She just wouldn't come home at night, but then she'd be there during the day or in the morning or whatever. And so we're like, okay, what are we going to do about that? I don't know. She doesn't come, but then she would always come back. So we took a trip and we were gone, and we had somebody that came and like checked on the cats and made sure they had food and water and cleaned their litter box and stuff. But we didn't have somebody locking the cats in every night. And so there was like a period of time where we don't know how many nights she was in or out. And so anyway, we came back and the cat was like gone. And like we would call her, and there was like it was like 5 nights in a row she didn't come. Well, all of a sudden then she came. And so it was like, oh, where have you been? Yeah, that's weird. Where have you been? And then all of a sudden the cat was gone for like weeks. So we live on a corner. And because our cats are outdoor cats, like I've always been concerned about the traffic on the corner.
Absolutely.
Because I thought, well, they might actually get run over, hit by a car or whatever. And so I thought maybe that's what happened. Like what happened to our cat? She always comes back. And she just didn't come back. And so days go by, weeks go by. And I thought, oh
It's
no,
done.
like she must have died. Like she must have died. But I also was holding out hope that she would just come back. Like, cause she'd always come, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so we like called her. And eventually we just kind of like stopped calling her because we didn't really need to call midnight, because midnight was just always there. And so we just, and my son was like, we gotta put up signs and stuff. But I was just like, I'm pretty sure she's gone. Like, I'm pretty sure. And there's been a coyote in the neighborhood.
Oh gosh.
And so I was like, okay, like our cat, pretty sure our cat's died. So anyway, I also thought like, okay, the cat's probably dead. Or I thought maybe somebody like took her in or something and just didn't let her out. And because she's such a nice cat, and our cats have collars. And so, anyway, we didn't know what happened to her. And this was like come into May, and the cat's been gone. And then all of a sudden, like out of the blue, she's been gone for like a month. Out of the blue, she just shows up in the middle of the day. And I was like, oh my gosh, like there's Mittens. She's alive, and like pet her and was just like so excited. And she hung around for about an hour, and then she was gone again. And I thought, okay, she's going to come, and she never came back. And I kept saying like, she's alive. So then I started to think, okay, she's probably, I didn't know what to think. I just didn't know. I was like, where is our cat? She's missing. And I don't know where she is. So that's where we're at. And like literally months go by, and I'm like, okay, maybe she is dead. We just didn't know. So we just kind of accepted that Mittens was gone. So come to a weekend in the fall. This is in November.
Okay.
Right before. So this is like months.
That's a chunk of time.
Yes. We have not seen any evidence of our cat, Mittens. And I'm out of town, and Tony's busy doing stuff. Like my kids are gone. There's only one kid home, and there's a knock at the door. And he answers the door, and there's this lady standing there, and he's never seen her before, no idea who she is. And she says, hi, I'm your neighbor, and I think we've been sharing a cat.
Oh, excuse me?
And my son was just standing there like, what? Like, what do you, okay, what do you mean? Like, that's a very strange thing to hear somebody say, like sharing it. What are you talking about? And so,
well, especially when you think your freaking cat's dead.
Yes, exactly. We just thought she was dead. Yeah. And so he's never seen this lady before. And she's like, well, we have this cat, and she's got Mittens, and I think she might belong to you guys. But she's really sick, and we just want to get the vet information so we can take her to the vet. And my son is just like, what is going on right now? Like, this is weird. And like, my parents aren't home.
And my cat is dead.
Like, what do you mean? And so anyway, so she's wanting to get vet information, and I'm unreachable at this point. I'm literally in someone's wedding, like without my phone. And so I don't know anything that's going on. My husband has nothing to do with cats at all. And so my son calls him, and he's like, I don't know. And so anyways, this lady was just like, okay, well, here's my phone. Here's my name and phone number. Have your parent call me when they get home. So I get this call saying that somebody's been at our house saying that they have our cat and they want to take her to the vet, or they want information for the vet. And I'm just like, what in the world? Okay, what's wrong with the cat? Like, is it our cat? What's wrong with the cat? And what's going on? So anyways, also, how weird is it that somebody just came to our house saying they want to take our cat to the vet?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Are you trying to shake me down for money?
Yeah,
like, what's going on?
I don't know what's happening. And so anyway, so I call the number, and it's this older retired couple, and he just starts talking, and he's just, literally have not even hardly said anything. It just said, hey, this is your neighbor. I hear you have our cat. He just starts talking and just starts going on and on about the cat and about how the cat's really sick and the cat's been blah, 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 like all this stuff about the cat. And I'm just like, can we just back up a minute? Like, can we just back up? And and at this point they've taken her to the vet and all of this stuff. And I was just like, what is happening? And so I just didn't even know how to respond or react because I was just like trying to process the fact that like they have our cat.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Wait, what is happening right now? You have our cat and you know it's our cat?
And you just keep the cat?
And you just have had this cat for how long? And like, so I start asking questions like, so how long have you known, like how long has you had this cat? Well, it's been since about May. Okay, that lines up. I'm pretty sure it's our cat. How long have you known it's our cat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, since about May. I'm like, wait, excuse me?
Gosh.
I was like, well, we really would have liked to know that you knew where our cat was because she's been missing since that time. And anyway, so me and two of my kids go to their house, which is not very far away, to confirm that it is our cat.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. And sure enough, yes, it's our cat. Still has the same collar on, everything. And I'm just like,
I'm sorry, does the collar have your like number on it?
No, it just has a bell on it.
Okay.
So yes, we go and confirm that this is in fact our cat.
Mm-hmm.
And she is sick. She's just, not super energetic. She's just laying on their couch in their house. And it's
living her best life.
Yeah, it's so odd and uncomfortable. I'm like, what? But then she gets up and goes to the glass door and she's like, oh, I think she wants outside. And so I open the door to let the cat out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do because she's definitely still sick. They're like, oh, that's the most she's moved in like 2 days. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to take this cat right in this moment if she's feeling ill.
Mm-hmm.
And also I don't like, this is just so weird. I don't even know what's happening. And so I want the cat to feel like safe and secure. I didn't want her to bolt. I didn't want to bring her into my house because I can't, but I want to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
And because they were like acting like she was going to die. They said, we don't know if she's going to make it through the night.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, what? So I go there with my kids thinking we're going to like go say goodbye to the cat because she's going to die. Anyway, it was just this whole thing that was so awkward and so uncomfortable. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take the cat right now because I want the cat to, like I said, I want the cat to like be in good health because I didn't feel right locking her in the garage.
Yeah. No.
Because so I'm like, okay, what do I do in this situation? I go home. I think this is when I start to like ask, like let people know the situation and like, what do I do? Like, this is so weird.
What is the protocol for
yes. This is so weird. And
for a kidnapped cat.
And so I call every day. So I give it a couple days because I'm calling. I'm like, is the cat, like, how is she doing? Because she said, anyway, their interpretation of the cat's illness was very different than mine. Like,
okay.
I thought by my looking at the cat, I thought the cat was okay. Maybe she wasn't herself, but I thought that she didn't look like she was going to die to me. Apparently the lady like stayed up, like trying with a medicine dropper all night, trying to like feed the cat, and they were like sleep. Anyway, I don't know. The whole situation was just weird. So I give it a little bit of time to process. I talked to another neighbor and I was like, here's the situation. Like, what do you suggest? Do you know these people? And she's just like, no, I don't know them. But she's like, that's your cat. I was like, I don't know how to handle this because we definitely want our cat back. But also, like, how do I stop? Because it's an indoor cat. Like, how do I stop my cat from like going to their house? I can't keep my cat in our house and I'm not going to lock her in the garage. But I don't want her going in their house. She's like, you can ask them to not let her in their house. It's your cat. Like, you just need to like
set a boundary.
Ask them. But like, I can't control what these people do in their home, right? And the cat's my responsibility, but I don't know how to make the cat not go over there now that she's been like trained to like go in their house. So anyways, apparently these people had a cat for 19 years and their cat died. So it was like right at the same time. So they had their own cat and that cat used to chase Mittens away.
Okay.
And then their cat died. And so then they just like allowed Mittens in, which was like apparently in their minds probably a therapy cat, like a cat replacement or something.
The cat sent Mittens to them
something
for healing.
Like that. And according to them, they didn't know that Mittens was missing, even though they'd been keeping Mittens inside
for
their house.
months.
And they said, oh yeah, she was free to go. I don't think so because we hadn't seen her for months and months. And so anyway, so then when I call and I'm like, okay, we're going to come and get the cat. There was a little resistance there. And I thought,
okay, it's my cat.
It's our cat. Like, it's our cat. It's our daughter's cat. Like, it's not
my child's cat.
My
it's
young
daughter's cat.
It is not your cat. It doesn't belong to you. So I have a phone conversation with the neighbor and let them know, okay, we're going to come and pick up our cat. Well, they didn't really like that idea very much. And I think it's because they became attached to our cat.
Yeah.
And she started, going off on me on the phone. And I was just like, what is happening right now? And then she was like, well, do you have a cat carrier? And I said, well, I have something that will work.
A skunk trap.
So I don't need a cat carrier. Okay. Just FYI, I don't take my cats anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I did have something that would work because that's what I brought them to the vet in, which which was also doubled as the raccoon trap that I originally
you took
bought.
the cats to the vet in the raccoon trap? Oh my god.
Here's the thing. It's called a raccoon trap. However, it is a carrier that has a handle on it that like the cats can't get out unless I release it. And then there's like the end like opens and they can get out. So it works great. I'm not going to buy a cat carrier for something for when I take the cats to the vet like once a year or once every 2 years or whenever they're supposed to get their shots. And that's it. So I'm good with that. And I don't feel a need to have anything plush. Okay. So that's my style. And I let one of my friends know that I was going to go pick up the cat in this. And she was like, do not do that. Do not do that. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to change who I am because these people might be appalled by my cat carrier. I don't actually care. The cat will be completely fine and safe and contained. And I will carry it 1 block to my home. And that's it. Yeah. So I show up with the trap, and they're like, oh, their eyes get really big, and she like carries it down from the stairs. Like this cat's been living in their house, like
I'm sure she's like sleeping queen. With them and all the things. Yeah,
she even told me on the phone. She was like, well, she slept with someone last night. I'm like, you mean you?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say that, but I was just like, what? Ugh. This is so weird. And so, anyways, we get the cat, and I was like, I would just like to ask that you please do not let our cat into your house anymore. And they were like, okay, well, it's going to be difficult because, she's, she comes here. And I was like, well, I understand that, but please don't let her in.
It's not like she has a key.
Like, please don't
let her. She's opening the door herself and like,
right?
I'm home.
Right? Okay, so get the cat home. The cat's home. Fine. Totally there with her. I mean, she did hiss at her sister like in the beginning, but then in the morning they were all cuddled up together like old times. So I was like, yay, the cat's home. So I didn't know what would happen that night, but called the cat. Boom, she came. Same next night, called the cat. Boom, she's there. I was like, okay, seriously, they've been keeping this cat inside their house for months. Okay, so 2 nights, 3 nights, great. 4th night, no cat. I'm like, okay, where's the cat? 5th night, no cat. So I decided to call the neighbor. I said, hey, just checking in. Mittens hasn't been home for a couple of nights. Just wondering if you've seen the cat. Well, yeah, I've seen her.
Oh my gosh.
I said, okay. Well, do you know where the cat is? Oh, yeah, I think she's in the backyard. Like, I had to ask very specific questions. I had to actually ask, did you allow the cat into your home? Well, yeah, we did. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Excuse me. I'm like, okay.
This is wild behavior.
I said, well, we've asked you not to do that. She's like, well, let me just tell something to you. And then she starts going off and she's all, like yelling at me. And she's like, it's very difficult to have the cat at our door and not let her in. And you don't know the emotional toll that this has taken on us. And I said, excuse me. And she goes, well, when I was a child, and I said, I'm going to stop you right there because I'm not really interested in your childhood story right now. I said, I'm interested in my child's emotional well-being and the toll that it's taken on her to have her cat be missing for this many months, not knowing if she was dead or alive, and all the tears that were shed for that. Like, that's my concern. Your emotional attachment to my cat is not my concern.
Good for you.
And I said, so we're going to come and get the cat. And if there's any issues, like we may have to get the police involved. And she goes, well, you go ahead and do that because you guys didn't do a very good job of even trying to find your cat. And I was like, excuse what? Like, what is happening right now?
Like, you knew it was our cat.
I know. Like, the whole time. Like, they knew. Yeah. So this time I'm like, Tony, you have to come with me. I'm like, please. Oh, by the way, also when we were on that phone conversation, I had her on speakerphone. And my husband was just like, this is he was like, you guys, like, you stole our cat. Like, he started getting involved in the conversation because he was just like, this is unreal. And then we thought she hung up, but she hadn't. And he goes, these people are crazy. Or no. He's like, these people are like psychotic. Or he said something along those lines, and which she probably heard. So anyways, that didn't help the situation. So we get our cat carrier, and my husband goes over there with me, and we knock on the door, and I'm like with a big smile on my face, hi, we're here to pick up our cat. And she's just like so stone cold, like just like rude, like she's upset, clearly upset. And I'm just like, it's our cat, you guys, like what is happening right now? And she's like, yeah, I think she might be in the yard. And I was like, well, how do I get there? Like, do you want me to go through your house or around? Like, where,
what?
And
me
also I was like, not convinced the cat wasn't inside their house. But anyways, we go out there, and then both her and her husband are back there, and they are just, they're just clearly not happy. And I start calling the cat, and I brought the cat treats, and I start shaking them. And the man's like, oh, she's not going to like that. She doesn't like noise. And I was like, sir, this is how we call her. Like, we've trained her. This is how we call her to come. And so sure enough, like, then she came, and anyways, I was able to get her. But before we left, like, we were in this conversation with this couple, and my husband's like, why don't you guys get your own cat?
Yeah. Pop has 1 million cats up right now.
And I said, there's lots of cats that would love, like, I'm sure you guys are lovely cat people. Like, he go, and I would ask that you please, again, do not let our cat into your house. Like, please don't feed her. Please don't, please stop, because then she's not going to want to come home. Like, she belongs to us. She does not, it's not your cat. And they were like, well, the man was like, well, you don't know, like, again, with the emotional toll or whatever with the cat. And I said, well, you've trained the cat. I said, cats are trained. And so you've trained the cat that this is what, that this is what happens when she comes to your house and whatever. And I said, and so cats can also continue to be trained. And I said, if you stop letting her in your house, she will learn like that she needs to come home, and that's where she gets her food and shelter and all of that. And so anyways, it was wild. They were so upset. They left their porch. They left us in the back of the porch. Tony's final words were like, you're delusional.
Love it.
To them, because it was just like unreal. It was so bizarre. We're like, what is happening right now? So anyway, we get our cat. We bring her home. We were trying to problem solve us. So I order like an air tag to put it on her collar so we can see. But the problem with air tag is that it's not real time. It has to connect to like cell phones or something. And so it'll say like where she was 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show us real time. So I've been researching, trying to figure out the best way to like, keep track, because she was been really consistent coming home every night until just recently. Again, she wasn't consistently coming home. And now so I have this air tag on her so I can see like her different locations. But I don't want to interact with this neighbor. Like, no. I don't want to ask them if she's in their house. Like, I can see, so it shows that frequently she's over there, but I don't know if she's inside or out. Like, it's still a bit of a like tension, a point of tension. And we're still trying to figure this out because she's not consistently coming home every night. But I'm not going to put her on a leash, and I'm not going to lock her in. So like, what do I even do?
Oh my gosh.
But also I don't want her going to this neighbor's house.
They're wild. They're crazy. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
It is, right?
It's crazy.
It's not just me thinking this is crazy.
It's super entitled, super delusional, super insensitive to an actual child and the trauma they caused.
Yeah, and that's what like when we were in their backyard and my husband was there, he was the one that was saying like, this cat belongs to her 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And they were just, it was like they
don't care.
I don't know. And so I know that cat people have ideas about like how cats should be like taken care of and XYZ. Like, our cats have not suffered at all. Our cats are very healthy cats and they have all their needs met. Like they're, some people, and maybe even people listening to this podcast think, have opinions about cats, indoor, outdoor, all of those things. That's fine. But this is what we've chosen to do with our cats. And they have an excellent life because they get best of both worlds. Like they get in and they get out. Like they get to.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's your cat.
Exactly. And I don't need to justify it to anybody.
No.
I don't need to justify how we raise our cats.
Right?
Right?
Like this is how I feel about my children too, Janice.
Yes. So if you want to like fix your cat's like salad dinner or whatever you do, like
no shame.
And if you want to have like garage cats,
that's fine too.
Like there's
lots of people that have barn cats and indoor out cats and just outdoor cats. There's people that have cats that don't ever get to go anywhere.
This is the thing. Our cats are not feral. They're not wild. They're tame. They're trained. They're trained. They use the litter box. They have collars. They are supposed to be coming, like one of them is consistently always home and in the garage every single night. It's just this little wild Mittens, who's not wild. I shouldn't even say wild. It's just this cat that has her own
likes to roam
mind.
A little
she
bit.
Likes to roam.
It's fine.
And it's very interesting to see where she goes, like with the air tag. But yeah, it's been difficult to have her be consistently in. So the other day she was home during the day. I was like, get that cat in the garage. Give her as many treats as you can. Like give her all the attention. Like make sure she knows like this is where she gets like all the best treatment.
Yeah.
And so, but I am curious, like are other people letting her in their houses? Like I don't even know.
Nobody's doing that.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh, I did that once. That wasn't my fault though. Oh my gosh, Jayme, I just remember I stole a cat. Sorry.
You're a catnapper too?
I didn't mean to, but there was a black cat outside of our...
Did you know who it belonged to?
No.
That's different.
And there was no collar. It had been declawed. I'm not a fan of that.
Oh.
But so clearly it was a cat that somebody had taken in. And I didn't think to go get a chip read on it because I'm not that smart, I guess. But yeah, and it was so cold. And then he'd always stand by our front porch. And one day I just let him in. But he got to go in and out too. So it was like... Well, now I feel bad. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I've broken some child's...
If you would have known who it belonged to, don't you think you would have gone and had a conversation?
Oh, I would have been like, here's your cat.
That's the part that's the craziest part to me is that they knew all this time and they did not let us know. Like, and then they had the audacity to say, we didn't try hard enough to find our cat. Like it was our fault or something. Like they were just trying to justify it in their minds that they were doing a good thing.
So wild that they knew it was you.
They knew it was our cat.
And then but you didn't put up a sign. So we just took that as like, you didn't want the cat.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right? Okay,
Anyway.
So there you go. You're welcome for the cat drama story. I will periodically update. Hopefully there will be a great solution. If we could just figure out how to track this cat in real time without spending a fortune, I would really like to be able to do that.
I feel like you need a
you need a GPS tracker, but I'm not going to spend a subscription. I'm not going to pay like however much it is every month to have a GPS.
I know. In a perfect world though, there would be like some kind of collar that you could get that actually you could like talk to the cat through the collar.
Right.
So every time it was by their house, you'd be like, let our cat out of your freaking house. You know?
Right? I want to put a camera on the cat.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Well, here's to all the catnappers out there.
Gosh.
Just stop.
Please.
Stop stealing people's animals. What's wrong with you? If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to support the show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram at the Geriatric Millennials, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghost. Check out their latest album now. Thank you so much.